Buffie.ann Crochet. I decided to do a podcast this time and show you some things that I have made and where I got the patterns from. I've made myself some notes here so I don't forget what to tell you. I first want to start with these socks that I made. This was my first time ever making socks. And since it was my first time ever making socks, I made them a little too long for my foot because I thought I knew better than the pattern. But these socks came from Premier Yarns. And this is the pattern. It is a free pattern, and I will put their link in the description below. They made theirs using the watermelon fruit yarn. I decided to use the strawberry, and this is the yarn, and it was quite inexpensive, I would think. It is a super fine, a number 1, and it calls for a 3.5 millimeter hook. However, the pattern calls for a 3.75 millimeter hook, so that is what I used. But this is Premier Yarns Fruits, and they have all different fruit yarns. This is a strawberry. They have the watermelon. I think there was a kiwi, but they're really pretty. So if you want to make some socks or anything that calls for a super fine yarn, I would recommend checking these out on their site. The next thing that I made was the granny square bag. I had made these squares with you, if you remember, or if you watched it, and if you didn't, you can back up and watch it. And here is the strap. I don't know how well you can see it. I hope you can see the glitter in the yarn. I really like that. I haven't decided if I'm going to put a liner in or leave it without, but the back is the same. I decided to go with the pink in the center row, and then on the side panels I did just one pink in the center on each side panel. And then the bottom is a 3 of the pink and gray. Which you can do it any way you want to, and you can do any colors that you want when making a bag. I am going to do a tutorial on how to join these granny squares together. And then for the handle, I just did a row of double crochet. No, I used single crochet, a row of single crochet, and I did it all the way up. All this is just single crochet until I got the desired length of the handle that I wanted. And then when I got to the other side, on the inside, I slip stitched them together on the inside, which made, I think, a nice little clean gathering there. I really like the bag. I am calling this bag, or did I already tell you? Maybe not. I am going to call this bag my Christmas holiday bag because, as I told you in the tutorial when making this, I think it looks like a poinsettia. Here's the pink flower in the middle, the pink poinsettia. But I'm real happy with the way this bag turned out. Again, I haven't decided if I'm going to put a liner in it, but if I do put a liner in it, I'm probably going to go with a light gray because I don't want bright pink showing up in these gray chain spaces between the granny square stitches. And also, all I did at the top was single crochet. I single crochet to my desired height. You can do it higher or you can do it lower, but this is just the length I wanted. And then once I got that desired height, that's when I started the bag strap. But yeah, I was really pleased with it, and I really do like the sparkled yarn. It's very pretty, and I hope you can see it on the camera. And all of this yarn was very inexpensive, so this bag did not cost a lot. But if you see these online, you will see that they do cost if you purchase them. So let me show you the yarn that I used. This is just a Mainstay Sparkle acrylic yarn. I got it at Walmart. I want to say that this skein of yarn was $2 and some change in the Mainstay brand. And the color says that it is platinum silver. I don't know if you can see that or not. Platinum silver. And if you can see the silver flecks that are going through this yarn, it's just very pretty. Very pretty. I really liked it when I saw it. They had a different brand there as well, and that was the same light gray, and that had the same flecks in it. And I want to say that it may have been a little over $1 more expensive than this one. And for a bag, I think this works just fine, and you can save a little bit of money. Alright, so I hope you all try the bag. As I said in the tutorial on making this, I do not have any more of this pink yarn. But it is, what is it? Let me see. This yarn is Red Heart Super Saver yarn in Shocking Pink. And I will list both of these yarns in the description below this video. But I also wanted to tell you that I made 19 pink and gray, 19 of the pink and gray squares for this bag, and I made 8 solid pink for this bag. So before you start crocheting your bag or designing your bag, you want to figure out what colors that you want to use, and you want to figure out how many of each you think that you will need in order to get your desired design that you want. And you're more than welcome to use the exact same yarn that I use. Like I said, it is an inexpensive yarn. Both of them are inexpensive. And I think they turned out very pretty. The pink with the gray and the silver running through it, I think it really made it look Christmassy and ready for the holidays. Alright, so let's move on to the next thing I made was this beret. And I think it's so pretty. And it has all of these popcorn stitches in it, as you can see. And it has a nice brim that comes down pretty low, and it'll help to keep your ears warm. I made this beret out of Beret Softy Chunky Yarn. And it is a heather, it is a gray heather. I don't know if it's going to focus. But it is a gray heather is the color of this yarn. And of course it is a chunky yarn, so it is a super bulky, and it is a number 6 yarn weight. And you can see that it's a pretty thick strand of yarn. I used on the beret, I used a 6mm hook. I got this pattern for this beret on Lulu Loves Crochet. She is out of the UK. I purchased it from her Etsy store, which is Lulu Loves UK. It was $2.21 for this pattern. I do believe that you can get it on her blog at Lulu Loves Crochet for free. However, there are some advertisements in with it as well, so either way you want to do it. If you want to make this beret. As I said, with this I used a 6mm hook. That's what the pattern calls for. I want to make this same beret. I want to make it with this velvet yarn. I think it's beautiful. I got this yarn at Hobby Lobby. It is Yarn B. It is Blush is the color. Velvety Smooth Sparkle Blush. And you can see all of those beautiful sparkles showing up. I hope you can see them as well as I can. I'm trying to get it close. But I think this, it's not quite the same weight, which is not the same weight. It is a 4 yarn weight. But maybe if I use the 6mm hook with this, I can get it pretty close. So I'm excited. It's so soft. I wish you could feel it. And I think it's going to have more of a drape because it's not a stiff yarn, where with this bulky chunky yarn it really holds its shape, as you can see. Like, I'm just holding it by one finger and it is holding its shape, and when you place it on your head it holds its shape. And I think with this yarn it will kind of fall and drape very nicely on your head, which I like both. So just for whatever mood I'm in to wear it. And when I do get this made, I will show you in the next podcast. I'm not sure if I told you the granny bag that I used, the granny square Christmas holiday bag. I used a 5mm hook with that, but I will also put that in the description below so you will have it. Also, if you do go to Lulu Loves Crochet, just remember just to know that her patterns, including this one, are written up in UK terms. UK terms are a little bit different from US terms. For instance, in US we have a single crochet, and in the UK that same stitch is called a double crochet. But she does have a chart explaining the different terms, and the different stitches. And it's very easy to follow, so don't let that intimidate you. It's very, very easy to follow. So she has some really pretty things on there, and this beret is one of them. And another thing I want to show you are these gloves. My husband likes to go hunting, so he wanted some warm gloves, so we found some yarn. Had wool, I believe it says it has, if I'm not mistaken, 70% wool. So that's what we bought him. But here is the gloves, and it does have the finger holes in each and the thumb, and it also has the mitten to go over. So I'll try one on and show you. So there's the glove, and he can pull the mitten over when he doesn't need to use his fingers and just wants to keep warm, and he can just slide it back when he's finished. And this pattern came from crochetandknitting.com. Crocheted mittens, fingerless gloves. And I also used a 5mm hook with this glove. I do not remember the yarn that it called for, but we bought Yarn Bee, Chloe, Forest Pine, because he was wanting a camouflage color. And this yarn calls for a 6mm hook, but I used a 5mm hook because I wanted a more tighter stitch so that it would keep his hands warm. So those turned out very well. I was very happy with them. And I think he is too. So that is that. And the last thing that I want to show you is a granny square stitch. I made these, this front and the back, probably a year and a half ago, and I did not know what I was going to do with them. So I decided about 2 or 3 weeks ago I was going to make a top out of them. So that's what I did. And then I bought, I just put a t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt under to match, and I've been really happy with this. At the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, at the bottom it is boxy. So I put this yarn, I weaved it through so that I can pull it, if you can see, so that I can pull it and tie it to whatever I desire to kind of taper it at the bottom. But like I said, it's just 2 squares. You make them as big as you want. I don't even remember what colors I used, but I can tell you all of this is cotton yarn. And I'm pretty sure I used I Love Cotton, and I bought it at Hobby Lobby as well. For the neck, again, it is, I'll take this off the hanger. This is truly 2 squares, and all I did was leave enough room for the neck, and I just evenly stitched them together on the opposite side. And I am going to show you how to join granny squares in the next tutorial that I put up. Let me turn this inside out and show you. So again, I just made it even across where I wanted my neck line to be, and then that's how many stitches I did on both sides. I want to think I did 14, but it will really just depend on what size your granny square is. But you can see where I stitched them together. Turn it this way. You can see I just went through and just did, I'm pretty sure I did a single crochet and stitched them together. And then I did the same with the armholes. I figured out how large I wanted the holes for my arms to be, and I just measured and did the same on both sides. And then again, I just did single crochet and stitched them together all the way down. Now this is the reverse side. This is the reverse side, so I will turn it back to the right side. And like I said, I'm very pleased with it. I love the colors. I think they look like fall and Thanksgiving. And I do want to replace this with a ribbon. I think a ribbed tan ribbon would look nice. So I think that is what I am going to do. Right, I hope that you all make some of these granny square projects. I think I'm going to make a scarf using squares. Probably not for the next video, but I will make them and show you how that would look. Granny squares are not hard to make. This was very easy to make. The hardest part of this entire project was sewing in all my ends, because I used a different skein of yarn for each color. This is not one of those ball of yarns that has several different colors within it. I think I had mentioned on my blog, I like those for some things, but I don't like when the color runs out and you don't have the same color all the way around. That's just my preference. Other people probably do like that, or don't mind it, whichever that they want. It's crochet really is your thought process, your creativity, what you want your project to turn out to be. And if you like it, then that's what matters. You want to make it to your style, what looks pretty to you, and what you will use, and what makes you happy, because that is why we crochet. That's why I crochet, to make me happy. So I hope you do as well. But I thank you for tuning in. I'm excited to do podcasts. Like I said, this is my first one, so I am just a little nervous, but I wanted to share some things with you. It was much easier to share with you this way than holding the camera and trying to show you. But I do hope you try some of these things. And once I make this beret with this velvet yarn, I will show you what it looks like, because I am excited about that. I do have a few things that I'm working on for Christmas gifts, and hopefully I'll share them with you in the next podcast. They're easy to whip up, and I will share with you where I got the patterns, and so that you can make them as well if that's what you want to do. But I am going to say goodbye, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will see you next time.